What is up, guys? It is Joe. We are back. We're talking ball about the Cats, and today we're talking to the man himself, Kansas State's newest point guard, Dug McDaniel. Doug, thank you so much for joining, man. I am so excited to talk to you today.
Appreciate you for having me.
Well, Doug, your commitment to Kansas State was massive. You were the first portal player this cycle to commit to Jerome Tang and the Cats. I want to hear a little bit about your process of what helped you decide on K-State, so I'll ask just simply, why Kansas State?
To be honest, just the way they recruited me, I've never been recruited like that before when, each member of the staff, even people that work within the basketball team that's more on the school side of things, when that whole building, reached out to me, it really opened my eyes and made me realize, it don't get no better than this. Nobody else recruited me this way, and, it really showed they cared. And then once we got there on campus and we landed pretty late, and, as soon as we turned the corner, it's about like 11 o'clock at night. The whole staff is just there clapping. So, that really kind of sealed the deal. Just let me know, I can trust these guys in my future, and I felt comfortable and safe.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you and the staff both hit it off, and I'm going to actually stay on that topic. You kind of talked about it already a little bit, but I wanted to ask, was there anything that you picked up on during your time in Manhattan being around the staff, or some type of a first impression you may have had, or something that, was made more clear to you by being around them?
Everybody's very transparent. That's one thing that going into the process that I wanted to make sure, with the emphasis that just transparency, just let me know what it's going to be from the jump. They don't have to sugarcoat it to recruit me or whatever. Just be straight up with me. And, throughout the day, it wasn't forced like, hey, Doug, have a meeting with this coach, have a meeting with this coach. No, it was nothing like that. We went out to dinner. I drove with Coach U or I drove with Coach Ream. And, we just got those talks in during those times. And it was just natural. And just hear everybody's story, and I can relate to an all-black staff. They can feel where I'm coming from. And, those are a lot of great guys, and I'm glad, to surround myself with a lot of great role models.
Well, it seems like he's one of everybody's favorite people on the staff. There's one guy in there I want to ask about specifically. What did you take away from getting to meet Coach Ream? Ream Dowling is one of the coolest dudes. He's been nicknamed the Maestro of Doom here in Manhattan. So I wanted to ask and see what your experience was like getting to know Coach Ream in person.
Coach Ream is very funny. I could tell that was going to, just by talking to him over the phone, I could just tell that was going to be my guy, if I were to come to K-State. And, here we are now. But Coach Ream is awesome. He's one coach that I could say I probably one of the closest to, in terms of we could have that relationship on and off the court, which is very big for me. And, I feel like I could tell him anything. That's like a big bro, little bro, nephew, uncle, whatever you want to call it, type of relationship. And, it's a fun, transparent relationship. And, I can't wait to, keep getting to know Coach Ream and him keep getting to know me and just continue to build that connection.
Well, before I switch gears, let me ask you this question. Now, you grew up in the DMV area, and I know that's a bunch of miles away from Kansas, but I'm interested in hearing kind of your first impression, or what do you think about Kansas, and how different was it than what you expected?
It's way different from where I grew up at. I feel like every place that I visit is going to be different from where I grew up at, but, I sacrificed 2 years being away from home, so, it wasn't in my thoughts to go back home now if I already did made the sacrifices, just continue to stay away from those distractions that's, back at home. So, going to Kansas, seeing a place for the first time, it was very, very, I would say relieving because, with such a great people around, you would hate for them to, be living in a bad space or like a bad area. But, it's kind of a relief to see the city and just see how clean and nice it is. Very calm, quiet, peaceful. And, I feel like I made the right decision.
Well, let me switch lanes a little bit here and ask you about something that Coach Tang mentioned recently. He did a recent interview and kind of dubbed you as, hey, Doug's been one of our best recruiters through this offseason. He's been reaching out to guys, going to bat for different players, and he's been a big help to us on the recruiting front. Well, let me ask you specifically about two guys headed to Manhattan as we're recording this interview in both Clifford Amori and Khalif Battle. Both are heading to Manhattan to check out the campus. I'm curious, what is your message to those guys to come join the team and join Kansas State?
I don't want to lead anybody in a direction, but I definitely want them to get a feel for it themselves. But, thinking about the bigger picture, I feel like, with those two guys, add them to the team we have now, I feel like we could make a deep run in the tournament. And, those two guys we don't want, we need them. So, just making them feel like a priority. And, they are a priority. I reached out to them personally because I want to play with guys like that, great guys, big competitors. So I made sure I'm personally reached out to them, let them know, hey, I'm going to be a point guard, and I want you to come. I need guys to pass the ball to. I'm trying to get you the ball. And, they were cool guys. We had great conversations. And, hopefully them seeing where they're going to be living and just seeing the atmosphere, hopefully, that adds more greatness to it. But, to play with two guys like that would be huge, man. Huge.
I think that is a great answer, and there's a lot to be excited about with both players. And I'm just going to tell you, I've been sitting here daydreaming, thinking about the fact of you with how talented you are throwing up floaters. Once you get to the paint, you're tossing up floaters, and you're one of the best at that in the country. You also have an innate passing ability that tops the charts. And I've just been sitting here thinking about the idea of you coming off a ball screen action with Cliff, throwing up a lob to the big fella or tossing a floater in, man. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, that's a point guard's dream right there, having the big throw it up and let him go get it. And the big love to go get it, show their athleticism all. So, that's a guard's dream right there. Hopefully we can make that happen.
Well, if we can pull that off, I am all for it. That would be an incredible thing to see. And I know the Octagon of Doom would be rocking the second that lob is thrown. Now, let me talk to you about another guy who's no stranger to playing in front of the Octagon of Doom, playing in front of K-State fans. A lot of people have compared your game to Markquis Nowell, Kansas State's former All-American point guard. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. I might be catching you off guard a little bit with the question, but I'm interested in asking if you've heard much about that comparison or what you think of the comparison, or if it's really something that, it's, hey, he's a separate player, I'm a separate player. What do you think about that comparison?
It's funny you said that because on my visit, it was a session that we had with the coaches where we watched film and, they was lining my plays up with Markquis plays, and it's crazy how we were making identical plays on opposite teams, identical movements, identical mannerisms, and, just seeing that made me really see the vision and see myself in the K-State system, and, it just made the decision easier for me.
I love that answer, and I know K-State fans will as well. But let me pivot a little bit and ask you something here that's kind of open-ended. But, Doug, what are you looking forward to most for this season?
Just being an overall complete player. I feel like these last 2 years, I really got to work on different aspects of my game. So for the third year, I want to put those things together and just be the complete player. Going back to me being a pass-first guard, getting others involved, scoring at will, and just being a gritty defender for 40 minutes, picking up full court. I feel like with the guys we have, I could, exert my energy into those things, just really being a complete player.
Well, since K-State was linked to you, I've been trying to watch all the content I can with you, trying to see all the different highlights, game replays, everything. Let me ask you this. For the fans that may not yet be familiar with your game or haven't seen your highlights or haven't seen you play, what would you say is your biggest asset?
I'll say my energy. That's one thing that, I get a lot of my coaches back at Michigan, one thing that they applauded me for, just my energy and, my grit. And, I'm gonna try not to showboat after every bucket this year. I'm gonna try to be better at that. But, just my passion for the game, I really love this. This is my way out, so I'm gonna give it all I got. And just expect me to bring that energy every night, win, lose, or draw.
Well, that is an awesome way to round out things here. Doug, I just got to say once again, man, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's been really cool to talk to you, and I'm so excited to see you hit the court this season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. I can't wait either.
Well, there you have it, guys. That was Dug McDaniel. Once again, shout out to Doug for joining the show and taking the time to sit down for the interview. I cannot wait to see him play. I think he's going to be an exciting basketball player to watch, and I cannot wait to cheer the boys on when the season gets underway. But thank you to all of you guys for watching. Thank you so much for all the support. I will talk to you guys here in the next one. Go Cats.